You're listening to the VTZone.com's weekly Scoutcast. Everything Hokies. And now here's publisher Jason Stamm.
Welcome to another edition of the VTZone.com's weekly Scoutcast. You know, I'm thrilled. Skip and I, we pulled through last week, but I'm glad we got the full crew back together this week, and a good time because we've got the season opener this weekend for the Hokies and pretty much the rest of college football minus, Hawaii and Cal who decided to play in Australia. Everybody else starts this week, so we got plenty to talk about. So the aforementioned Doug Bowman is back. Doug, we're glad to have you back, man.
I'm back. I'm here. Let's do it. What's going on?
And Derrick, Skip, Hopkins, we were just talking about before we started the podcast here. Skip got some fan mail or fan tweet, I guess, on Twitter. So we got some loyal listeners, I guess, now.
Oh yeah, man! I appreciate all the fans listening, man.
Number one, Wit. What's up?
It means a lot, man. Keep tuning in. So we appreciate you guys.
We got a few out
Especially
there.
you, Wit.
I don't know if Witt's gonna be sending us any congratulatory tweets or anything. That's when we know we really hit it big time.
Hey man, he should, man. If he's listening, come on, man. Tweet us out.
So yeah, I mean, what's not to like about our podcast here? We got all the expertise from Doug and Skip coming in with the comic relief, and it's good times. I like to think we have a pretty good trio here. So, yeah, guys, we are in the game week. We are officially. It's hard to believe. Once it gets here, this is the time that everybody's looking for all year, and it gets here, and you're just like, geez, I can't believe it's already football season. But football season is here. High school has been going for a couple weeks. We'll get Skip more into that in a little bit. But guys, a week out or a few days out now, the depth chart came out this week. Doug, I'll start with you, man. What stands out most to you about the depth chart? Because we had some stuff kind of, guys moving around, a couple surprises. What stands out the most?
I think probably Colt Pettit starting at guard over Wyatt Teller is probably the big news, and why that exactly is happening and how long that is going to happen for is being kept completely under wraps. So, whether it's a long-term thing or a motivational ploy here right before week one, who knows? But I didn't see much on the depth chart that really was surprising, except that when you consider how big of a piece Teller was last year, and then kind of what his expectations were. Just to see him on the second line was a little surprising.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, is that going to continue? I mean, is this something we should worry about with Wyatt like this? I mean, he's gone through this before where he's gotten pushed back to the second team and had to work his way back. And I mean, they're not held to this depth chart. They can change their minds, right up to kickoff if they want to put Teller back in. So, I mean, should we worry about Teller, or is this kind of just like a temporary thing just to get him motivated?
I think it's a temporary thing just to get him motivated. Particularly with Tennessee coming up week 2, I think he's the kind of guy that you need at guard. And, we haven't really seen Colt Pettit play, so, he might kind of be the same guy, might be really good, but I think Wyatt Teller's experience and just what we've seen from him over the last couple years, when you're going up against the number 9 team in the country or whatever, and all that comes with that, I think you're going to see him move back up the depth chart ahead of the Tennessee game.
Yeah, no disrespect to Colt Pettit at all. I know Colt has come a long way, but yeah, Wyatt's the guy that's got to be in there starting. I think that's, something's wrong if he's not starting. So, Skip, same thing to you, man. What stands out the most about some of the position shuffling and kind of what we've seen with the depth chart coming out this week?
With the depth chart itself, probably what Doug said. Wyatt Teller not starting. I think that's big. I'm not sure if it's motivation or try to prove a point to Wyatt to say, hey man, we this college ball. We have other guys that we can play, and the offense will still run. I think that's probably the biggest one. Also with tailback, Sam is is number 1 over Trayvon, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I know with this offense, not really a true fullback, so I'm kind of interested to see how they use Sam and which way, what type of runs, what they which type of runs they're going to use with Sam, as a tailback. So that's gonna be a interesting thing to see. So we'll see.
Yeah, the stuff with Sam I think is very interesting. I mean, you're talking about Trayvon. Obviously had over 1,000 yards rushing last season. We knew his role. I mean, Doug, you and I have talked about it even some. We knew his role was going to be a little different this year. But I mean, did you expect Sam to be the one starting back there in the backfield?
I think it's interesting that they set the depth chart up, but I don't think it's going to be that indicative of. I don't think McMillan's going to be buried on the depth chart and fighting for snaps. I think they're both going to play a ton, and they'll both get their chances. Obviously, I think Rodgers has a little bit more versatility in terms of where it can line up and, what he can do in the passing game and things like that. But, McMillan's number 2 on the depth chart, but, I still think you're going to see enough where they're probably more, code number 1s than anything.
Yeah, I mean, Sam. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that he can do versatility wise. He can beat. I mean, he's caught a lot of passes out of the backfield on screens or, just little outs that coming out of the backfield. So I think maybe he gives you a little more as far as the passing game goes. To me, the other thing, Skip, I don't know if you were surprised. I mean, I think anybody who's seen Bucky Hodges play, he's more of a receiver. He's not really your prototypical tight end, and we knew that the tight end wasn't really going to be used too much. But for Bucky to be out there as a starting wide receiver, I think it's not a shock that he's starting. Maybe a little bit of receiver. Chris Cunningham, though, I thought, what does that say about him that he, as a redshirt freshman, is starting at? They've got him listed as a tight end. I think it's more of an H-back role, but to have two, H-back tight end kind of guys out there at the same time.
I mean, it's not really that. I mean, it gives you more length, and I mean, if both guys can run like receivers, I mean, you just have a better advantage. You got guys that can run as fast as a receiver, and they're tall and they're linky. So you got a smaller DB that's checking them, or say a linebacker that's checking them. I mean, I think it's just an advantage for us in any situation. You got a 5'10" corner checking Bucky. Okay. You got a linebacker that's maybe 6'1", but it's not as fast as Bucky. Okay. You got a nickelback or whatever that's Rover that's 5'9", you know what I'm saying? Maybe 200 pounds. We still an advantage on our end. So I think Bucky's tall, lanky, and can run. So it just gives us a better advantage on the outside, inside, wherever you put him at. He has an advantage. So.
And Skip, I know on defense, it didn't seem like there were a lot of surprises. To me, the only really thing that was kind of a surprise is that Mook Reynolds is listed as the starting whip. Now, Bud Foster said he's basically going to be a whip and nickelback kind of simultaneously. So I know you never played whip, obviously, Skip, but I mean, you're familiar with that position and how it works, how they use it. So were you surprised to see that Mook is going to be used kind of as a nickel and as a whip, and what does that do for him to be able to play both?
It's not surprising. I mean, somebody has to play it. I guess in training camp he stepped up, and Coach Foster and all the coaches trusted him the most to play that position. So that's a key position for our defense. That position is really what kind of controls the defense really, between like the gap fits and dropping coverage, and he has to come up and force some things and do a lot more than the average outside linebacker. So I mean, the coaches trust him, and I'm sure he had a great camp. So I look forward to seeing how he plays.
Yeah, I do think that. I mean, that's a pretty good. I think Coach Foster made absolutely perfect sense when he said that it's good to have a guy like that doesn't give away what they're doing. Like when you bring in Mook, when you bring in a guy who's definitely their nickel, then they can adjust. But now they don't know what kind of package they're going to be in all the time. If they got a guy like Mook who can go back and forth between whip whipping the nickel spot. I know it's not a huge difference, but Mook is a little undersized, I think, to be playing linebacker. But, hats off to him if they think he can be in there to do both spots. But, Doug, it's a little old news at this point, but this is the first time we've had a podcast since the starting quarterback was announced last week. At least I wasn't surprised. I don't think you were surprised. Gerard Evans is the guy. Is that an ongoing battle, though? Is this something where Evans, do you feel like, has won the spot, or is this something we're going to be going through a game-by-game basis, in-game basis? I mean, what's kind of your read on, I guess, where the quarterback's situation is?
I think it's going to be, I'll call it a 2-game audition. I think, obviously he's going to be the guy at Liberty, and I think to all of a sudden pivot after the Liberty game to somebody else would be a mistake, after, a quarterback competition that went from the spring through the summer and deep into the fall. So, I think he's fine through the Liberty game no matter what happens. Gerard Evans is going to be the starter, but, if they get into that Tennessee game and things really start to break down and he's struggling a lot, then I think you could, that's where you could see them start to flip into whether it's Motley or Jackson or whichever way Fuente wants to go with that. But, I don't think it's a spot where, Fuente's going to, Evans might be a little inconsistent against Liberty, but I don't think that's going to make him kind of pull the trigger immediately after such a long competition.
And we've talked about it before, Doug, but I mean, how close do you think that quarterback competition really was? Like, was Evans the guy all along and they just wanted to motivate him? Or, is it something where it's that close where, hey, if Evans has a little bit of struggle, that they put Motley in there pretty quick?
Yeah, I think it was pretty close. I don't think anybody ever... And I think Evans was always that kind of leader in the clubhouse, or that number one guy, and Fuente was looking for guys to push him, and Jackson and Motley obviously did just that. So, was it close? Yes, but did it feel like Evans, dropped back at some point during the competition? Probably not. Ever since he committed, I thought he was the favorite from the start, and kind of seems like going through spring, he kind of was just one step ahead, and then kind of maintained that going through the fall.
What do you think, Skip? Is Evans going to stick with as a starter, or is Motley nipping at his heels?
No, I think, he's a starter. Unless he comes out of Liberty and throws 6 interceptions and fumbles the ball all over the place, it looks terrible. But I think, he's the guy to go. It's who they wanted, start the year off with, and I think it's who I think this is who they're going to, keep for the rest of the year. So, yeah.
So,
I think.
Go ahead, Doug.
I think the other thing is, Fuente's already talked about how big that Boston College game is in Week 3 as the first conference game, and I think he probably wants that quarterback spot to be pretty solid by the time they get into that game, and how important that game will be. So, if you're flipping quarterbacks against Liberty and then again against Tennessee, all of a sudden you're opening conference play and you still don't know who your quarterback is. So I think he's going to be the guy for, probably the next 2 years.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I mean, Doug, you and I feel like we talked about it from the moment that Gerard Evans committed. We thought he was going to be the guy. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit concerning maybe that he wasn't the clear guy. But, I think that shows that Motley obviously is up there too, and you can't discount him. And obviously if something were to happen to Evans, I think it wouldn't be a massive drop-off to get to Motley. I mean, he did play some last year. So, Doug, I guess just kind of overall, though, I mean, what are you looking for this weekend with Liberty? Is it more of a scrimmage, do you feel like, kind of deal where they're going to, trot out everybody and everybody's going to get time and stuff? Or is this somebody they really need to be, testing some stuff out on? I mean, I was talking to the Liberty reporter of the Lynchburg News and Advance earlier, and he was saying he thought it was going to be like a 42-28 game. And I don't want to give away predictions yet. We'll get those later in the week. But what are you looking for out of this weekend, out of this first game?
I don't think it's going to be a completely clean game by any stretch. I mean, this is their first game, under the new offense. There's a bunch of guys kind of doing new things this year, and I kind of expect to see a slow start and some penalties and substitutions go wrong and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's to be expected under a new staff and new plays and all that stuff. They've been going against each other for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now they finally get to start the season. There's going to be those opening season jitters, so I think you're going to see some mistakes made and things like that. But that's good. That's exactly what you want going into Tennessee. So you make those mistakes. You learn from them, and you go into practice the next week and you correct them, and hopefully by Bristol. I mean, Fuente says they're not looking ahead, but everybody's looking ahead to Bristol. So I think 44-28 kind of seems like a lot of points for Liberty against Virginia Tech. But I think there's definitely going to be things people point to that Virginia Tech could do better after this game.
What do you think, Skip? I know you guys played a few of these, kind of FCS teams. I know you don't want to overlook them, but what are you looking forward to see? How should they how tough is it to not look ahead to Tennessee next week?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say 28 points, really. 28 points, like, really, like.
That's what he told me. That was his prediction.
28 points, like, I mean, okay. Okay. Just go ahead and throw it out the word. They get 28 points. They get 28 points. I mean,
spoken like a true former Virginia Tech defensive player.
Like, seriously, 28 points? Like, I know they might have a good team, but, 28 points?
28. Bud Foster, loyal listener, Bud Foster's very proud right now.
But 28 points? Not 14, not 10, no, not even 17. Okay, I understand, maybe 17. You kick off a turn or something like that, new coaching staff, new system. You might get a punt or a special teams player or something like that. All right, cool. Might get a field goal. That's doable. But 28? But
I got a feeling Skip's going to be driving to Blacksburg on Sunday if they give up 28 points.
Something like we give 28 points. I mean, something got to be adjusted. Like something ain't working right. But especially against Liberty.
Yeah.
But back to the question. I mean, it's harder, to not look forward to the big game, because it's kind of like this Liberty game it should be, let's say, give it 28 points, kind of like a polished game, getting everything, get all the kinks out, get all the technique, not technique, but all the technical things, and to get in the headset, make sure the coach is on the same page, and calling the plays, it's a whole different system, so make sure all the things are worked out and it is, going as order, going in excellence, going in the order that it should be. I think that's the big thing, really, just getting everything, function out, everything, getting everybody used to it, the new game day. I think that's probably the biggest thing. But 28 points, man. I mean, that's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, I don't think that the lunch pail is not going to be in good shape. I feel like it's going to have a few dents in it if they give up 28 points. So
yeah, it might be flat and 28 points in that's whew.
Yeah, so let's hope we don't get the 28 points. But Skip, I did want to ask you, man. The other big news, I guess, that really came out this week was the and I was told this was 100% Coach Fuente, that he wanted to kind of honor Coach Beamer in having the the special teams player of the week wear number 25 for the game. I guess, what did you think about that gesture, and what does it mean for him to honor Coach Beamer like that as a former player?
I think it was cool. I think it was cool. I think it's real cool. Coach Beamer was the one that kind of, got the program going. He's there for almost 55,000 years. So, to get to show respect to a legend. Show respect to somebody who started got Virginia Tech from pretty much the bottom to the top. I think it's really an honor, and it shows a little character of him and his coaching staff and people that's around him that they want to honor the past coach. So I think it's big, especially for the specialists. Their former coach and their former position coach as well. They show respect for them. So I think it's cool. I know Coach Beam is happy about it, and he feels honored to the coach wanted to do that for him. So I think it's cool. I think it's a big thing. It just shows a lot of character with coach and his coaching staff, and people that thought about the idea. So
yeah, between that and Doug, you weren't on here last week when Skip and I talked about it, but between that and the Bristol uniform, the revealing, seems like they're making some pretty good moves right now. I kind of like what they're doing right now to just kind of change it up a little bit, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely kind of feel the change that Fuente and all the other new people going even into the athletic department are kind of bringing along. I really like the move to wear the 25. I think that's the perfect amount of showing respect and honoring Frank Beamer, and also not too much where that's all you're thinking about all the time. So and I will say, if Sam Rogers doesn't wear that 25 by the end of this year, then it'll be the upset of the century. He seems like a guy that's a lock to wear that at one point over this year. But yeah, I mean, I think, between the jersey revealing and, they're coming out with this new 25 and all the facilities that are being built and all that stuff, you can definitely kind of feel the entire athletic department, moving forward.
Yeah, if they can only get this mess fixed up with the Southgate interchange, and I don't know if you guys have been back in a while, but it is a complete disaster, and obviously it's not going to be done.
Oh boy.
For this weekend, but it's like a half roundabout that's been made out there, and it's very confusing. I'm hoping there aren't any wrecks for everybody coming in on Saturday. It's going to be really awesome and very nice. I think they're going to be glad they did it when it's done, but in the meantime, it's not quite the most appealing thing when you come into campus there.
In the meantime, get off at the North Main exit. Don't even try and go down to 460.
Yeah. There or
stop off at our podcast sponsor Bojangles right there on the right.
Well, no, Bull and Bones.
Oh yeah.
Because we'll be having some Bull and Bones, and I'll talk about that later. We have some Bull and Bones wings for the tailgate.
Also, long-time sponsor Bull and Bones.
Right.
B-Bone, best things in Blacksburg, beside PKs,
Yeah, okay. Just briefly on a side note here, did you guys hear about Mike's Grill closing?
Yeah.
Man,
I did not.
Sad day.
That thing's been there for 40 years, and
yeah,
now some other, I don't know, substation for life, though.
You like Substation?
Substation cannot be beat.
Wow. That's just not talking about Substation, man. I didn't really like that sub like that.
I'm with you, Skip. I never got into it, man. That bread is it's like too much bread.
All right. You don't need to hate on Substation here.
Hey, man, people like it, but I just never really got into it.
I mean, if they sponsored us, then, I'd be talking differently about them, but...
Oh, yeah, if they sponsor us, we love it.
They sponsored me.
Bro.
Yeah, so apparently Doug got sponsored, and Skip, you and I have not yet, so we got to work on that.
Yeah, we got to work on our sponsorships, man.
So, a lot going on with I guess recruiting. Like I said, Skip and I talked about it last week with Devin Hunter, and just what a genius move to get him to unveil the uniforms for the Bristol game. You talk about making a kid feel special. I think that's definitely got to do it. But basketball is busy right now. We got a lot of visits coming up. I think I mentioned quite a few of those in our war room this week and insiders. So September is going to be a busy month as far as that goes. Football, I don't know if it's really. It's kind of leveled out a little bit. I don't think they've lost any momentum, but I think they're waiting on some guys now. Mekhi Becton obviously being a big one there with the Springers, with Skip. But Devin Hunter and Nathan Proctor, another they're working on still. But I feel like this is kind of a weekly thing, Doug. But I guess where do you feel about the state of recruiting? What do you think about where they stand with some of these guys and some of these targets that they're looking at right now?
Yeah, I don't think anything's really changed. I mean, you talked about high school football just getting cranked up, and they're all playing games in the first couple games, and I don't think recruiting is as, coinciding with Virginia Tech, getting ready to play a couple games here. I don't think recruiting has really been at the forefront compared to what it was in late July, early August when they had that really, really, really big stretch for them. So
that's true.
all the prospects are just kind of focused on their high school seasons. But once you get into September, there's 2 Saturdays against Boston College and East Carolina are going to be huge, considering they don't have any Saturdays into October. So kind of like last year, they kind of got screwed with how the schedule set up, with that rain and the Friday
12th.
Games.
It's November 12th.
Yeah,
the only home game they've got in October is that Thursday night game against Miami, and I know that obviously is not helping, recruiting or getting the guys on campus there for a Thursday night game. They'll probably get a few, but I don't know how many are going to be there for a Thursday night. Yeah,
so BC and ECU are going to be the 2 big recruiting weekends because, until then. After that, you'd have 6 weeks without a home game, and I don't know how you generate buzz without a home game. But we'll see what they do.
You got to win.
That's true.
If you win, bring a lot of buzz.
If you're 7-1, that'll help.
It is. If you're 4-6, it's not.
Nobody's coming to Blacksburg in November if you're 4-6.
No, they'll be here for UVA. That'll be a good crowd no matter what. But that Georgia Tech, I think it'll kind of wait and see where they stand. So Coach Skip, I guess give us an update, man. You guys are underway over with the Springers. How's the season gone so far? How's our guy Mekhi Becton looked over there?
We're doing good, man. We played Hermitage last week. We won. It was a tough game. It's a tough game.
It's like somebody drove off.
That's exactly what happened.
We play hard. The team played well. Still got a lot of things to work on. So, look forward to this Friday. We play Northview at home at Holland Springs at 7:00. You just got to get better, but we won the game. Just got a lot of things to work on, but we're looking good this season.
Yeah, so I guess nobody paid attention to the September 3rd date that's on Max Preps. That's what I looked at.
Yes, that schedule was a little off. So the game is Friday at 7:00 at Holland Springs. Friday, not Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know who does that stuff, Skip. They need to get you in charge of the Max Prep stuff. Just at least updating the schedule.
Nah, I'm good, man. I stay with Scout.
You got enough on your plate. Yeah, I didn't realize we were having Doug. I didn't realize you were providing sound effects. I've got a few sound effects on my keyboard here, but I didn't realize you were going to have one with the car driving off.
Natural sound is better than any sound.
Yeah, man, natural.
It's how they do it in movies.
Yeah,
I've got I always do like a bell. I don't know if you guys listen to it. I always do a bell sound effect when we do our shout outs, and I've got like a gun. It's like a weird gun sound though. There's a few sound effects.
Just listen to the engines here in good old Richmond.
Yeah,
that is in Richmond. All you hear is driving down. Good old trucks.
You guys are both coming from the mean streets of Richmond, so
main streets, man. That's where it's at. Richmond, man.
Yeah, RVA.
You got it good in Blacksburg, man. Roanoke. They good out there. You getting to Richmond?
Well, on that note, Doug, you got a shout out this week?
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and shout out my boy Ezekiel Elliott. He's a running back for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's also prominently featured on this year. So, getting behind for a big season.
Yeah, fantasy. I had Antonio Brown and Doug Martin as my keepers. I missed Ezekiel Elliott by one pick, so I was a little upset that I couldn't snag him to bolster my.
Yeah, my draft.
I took a chance on Eddie Lacy, so I don't know what you guys think about Eddie Lacy.
That's not going to go well.
Well, he's lost the weight though again, so I feel like once he's back to normal size or what he's been, hopefully he can get back to. He's still a tank, but he's not obese.
That's fair. You better hope so.
I guess my shout out, I got to give it to. I was going to bring him up when we were talking about recruiting, but I got to give it to Khalil Pimpleton. Man, that guy had Virginia Tech commit 5 touchdowns. He threw for a touchdown. I think he ran for 3. No, he ran for 2 and caught 2 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns in the season opener. They played it in the big house at University of Michigan, so pretty big stage, pretty big showing. I think.
Yeah, those highlights look pretty cool.
Oh my gosh! If you guys haven't seen that, I posted it on the site. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. We had one of our scout analysts there covering the game, and very good look at what Khalil Pimpleton can bring. So he may not be very big, but that guy can do a lot of stuff, and his speed to run for days. So I think we got to feel pretty solid about that pickup. Skip, who's your shout out for?
Hey man, why can't we get a scout? You know, somebody come to our games, man. What's up with that? They go all the way up to where he's at, man, Michigan.
Well, we got the guys all over the place. I'll be there if you guys are in the playoffs. I will say you that.
Wow, he get the first game of regular season. He's still trying to get his breathing right. We get the playoffs. It's okay, man.
Well, he's playing at the big house too. That's a big stage. There was like 4 games there that day.
It's okay, man. It's cool. House Springs is the big house too, man.
You got Doug there that can always come over and cover your games. He's with Scout.
Doug sleep at 7, so that's not bad.
They don't want me over there. I didn't get to go to the camp. I didn't go to the cookout.
Hey, man, you can come as long as you pay. But no, my shout out goes to the Holland Springs Springers, man. Winning the first game against Hermitage, good opponent, tough school to play against. So we pulled it out. Looking forward to a good season, great season. So yeah, shout out to my Springers.
Wow, I don't know about you, Doug, but I'm shocked by that shout out.
Are you?
You should be.
Well, it wasn't Skip's wife this time, so she hasn't got a shot in a while.
It was. I know, not yet. It's coming though. It'll be back.
She's got to earn it.
No, he's already earned it, man. It's the right time. You gotta be at the right time. You can't just be saying shout outs all willy nilly.
You're right.
Yeah. Second shout out. Number 1 loyal listener, Whit Babcock. Great job on that baseball improvement project. Looks real nice. If you needed my stamp of approval, you got it there, Whit.
Can't be getting second shout outs, man.
I just broke the game.
You just broke the code, man. Second shout outs.
Nah, fam. Can't be breaking the code. Just threw everything off.
You say nah, fam. Okay. You hang around some black folks, huh? No, fam. No, fam. Hang around. Okay. I guess Doug ready to go, man.
What?
That was a motorcycle.
I think Doug's ready to go, man. That's a sign. Time to go. Time to roll off, yeah.
I know that's Doug's sound effect for let's cut it. Let's get out.
Yeah.
Gotta get out of here. All right, so we got the season opener on Saturday. I did mention earlier, I know you guys won't be here this weekend, but for every home game this year, at least we're planning on it, being out there for our tailgate. We've been doing this our 4th year now, tailgate.
Long-time sponsor.
Yep, long-time sponsor from Bull and Bones. So they hook us up with big trays of wings. So if you guys have had Bull and Bones before, you know it's the best wings in Blacksburg. You can't go wrong with Bull and Bones, man. So,
man, what you got to tell them this beforehand, man. No, tailgate with Bull and Bones, man.
Anytime you want to come, Skip, you've been there. You know how the tailgate works.
That might be, worth a trip down to Blacksburg to get the free Bull and Bone wings, man.
I'm just saying, you got 2 other games in September, and then we got the Thursday night with Miami. We'll be out there when it's cold for Georgia Tech, even.
I know, man. You didn't tell me about the wings, man.
No, we got the wing. We got the hookup with the wings, Skip. We got you covered, man. All the wings you can eat, we got them there.
No, whoa. You can't say that. All the wings I can eat. I eat all the wings. I might eat no wings, so you can't say all the wings.
Well, that's true. A lot of they go pretty quick. So, but there's also burgers, and we got sausage dogs. It's like deer sausage.
Hey, man,
it's really good. So all kinds.
I'll
of
let you
stuff.
know when I'm coming to town. So you got to tell Bull and Bones to load up on the wings.
Well,
you can't bring the normal amount. You got to bring extra when I come down. It's
right.
I'm a big guy. So, Bull and Bones needs. We need more wings when I come in town. So I'll let you know in advance.
That's only fair. That's only fair. So we'll be out there starting at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, Lot 4. It's 12:30 kick, Skip, so we got to get going.
I know, yeah, but 9:30 on a Saturday.
9:30. But we got the 3:30 kick here in a couple weeks, so that gave us more tailgate time. And
Skip, if you go to bed early, you can get up earlier.
Well, Doug, I'm not you going to bed at 6:00 p.m. I'm sorry, I like to stay up and talk to my wife a little bit.
9:30 is no problem when you go to sleep early.
So maybe we'll see Doug out there before we do Skip. We'll have to see. But it sounds like Doug won't be joining us next week, so I guess Skip and I will be recapping the Liberty game. At the first
Fingers crossed Liberty scores 28 points.
Yeah.
That'll be the most listened to podcast we've ever had.
28 points?
So we better hope. Well, I don't know. For viewership, I don't know. Or listenership. We'll see how that goes. So we'll be doing our podcast, though, from here on out. Rest of the season, we'll be airing it on Monday morning, so it'll get you guys ready to start the week, talking about what happened on the weekend. So we'll be doing that. And, of course, we got all kinds of coverage coming. We got our predictions. Skip will give you his thoughts on his predictions for each week. We got Doug with the primer, all kinds of stuff to get you guys ready. Full coverage out there. Delaney and I will be out there for the season opener on Saturday. So for Doug Bowman, Derrick Skip Hopkins, I'm Jason Stamm. Thank you for checking us out, and we will see you back here next week.